I'm really thankful for what God's done in 20 years here, because we started out as an extension of another school and did not realize that we would become an independent, standalone ministry. But God engineered that beautifully, as in 2003 we realized that there was so much we could do here that was creative and different, and felt really a strong sense of call from the Lord that we should go ahead and try to explore that and create something that's different in the world of theological education from what you'd find anywhere else.
Wow, there's been a lot of really cool things that God's done in the seminary this past decade. A lot of it has to do with just like seeing students, seeing their lives change, things that they've done or been part of. Sometimes we have students come who don't even know why they're going to seminary, but they're like, I think I need to go to seminary for some reason. And even as they're taking classes, it comes to them. They figure out God's leading them towards the things that they should be doing. So sometimes the things that have been really exciting that God has done that I've actually gotten to be a part of are things like students taking a class that changes how they think about their relationship to God or who they are in Christ, what they've been called to do.
Church history classes were so vital to my life because I saw how people, this isn't anything new, really. We think about, all these things that are, things are terrible and all these people are fighting, there's so much political division. That's not anything new. And what they faced in the New Testament was so much more tougher under Rome that we can learn a lot through church history. And I've learned a lot through church history.
One of the distinctives, again, about the seminary is that because we are interdenominational, we don't just sit there and tell students, this is what you're supposed to believe, this is what you're supposed to believe. But we'll talk about how different times in the church and different types of Christians will hold different views on certain things. And then students have to figure out who they are and what did they believe in relationship to all of that and how their relationship to Christ grows through that.
My experience has been that students will learn to look at events around culture in a new way, in a way that opens up doors for the gospel, but also appreciates theologically what may be there.
I think our heart is always going to be at that intersection of bringing people closer to Christ, but also figuring out who they are in Christ and how they relate to each other, and figuring out what is it that they believe.
We'd like people to have to wrestle with things and take hold of it themselves and have their own convictions. And we know that that will serve them better in the future. We're here called by God to equip God's people and give them the resources they need so they can understand their faith and serve the Lord more effectively.
If I'm looking at my journey here at UTS, you'd have to start back to say, why did I want to come here? I wanted to come here because I wanted a better understanding of God and who He was. And being able to utilize that understanding in whatever ministry that I followed through it at my church.
Because we're a small school, students sometimes have the opportunity to do things that they wouldn't necessarily get to do at a bigger school. So we've got students who have taken independent studies that really focus on their interests or the directions they want to go in life.
I grew up in Champaign-Urbana, and so I've known about the seminary for a long time. I've known Dr. Cuffey for a long time from having gone to my church, and so I was familiar with the seminary for a long time. Went to some of the C.S. Lewis and Tolkien conferences back when I was in high school or college, and then more recently got connected because they did the Launching, Landing, and Leaving course with Dr. Ann Alexander. When I saw that, I was like, oh, perfect timing. That would be something to be really practical for me as I prepare to go overseas. So I was able to take that, and that was perfect timing, provision from God to have that class offered at the time I was preparing.
The Lord, He's so kind. He's so kind because a part of it is He doesn't just call the equipped, He equips the caller. And that was a part of my journey of coming here to UTS.
In the future, we want to be able to be there for the church. We are not an institution that's been teaching the same curriculum for 150 years or anything like that. So we are nimble on our feet and we can flex. And we must do that, and I believe will, so that we can address the church not just today, but the church 50, 100 years from now, and create a legacy into the future where we continue to train and equip and make it available in a way that people will reach up and grab hold of and participate in.
I know it's been very enriching for both my wife and I to take the classes here. It's challenged us, caused us to grow in areas, and I'm really happy that they've been around as long as they have, and I'm hoping they'll continue to have an impact, not only here in the Champaign-Urbana area, but throughout the world, through the students that they're reaching.
I would just hope that people would really consider Urbana Theological Seminary in the future when they're looking at seminaries for either, yes, to be a pastor, but it's also, we're really moving in a direction to help folks that are more lay people in the church to further their understanding of the scriptures, further just get to know Christ and be equipped and empowered to do whatever they're doing in the church, or what they might be called to do in the future.